Hey there, Postal here. So today we're taking out the Swift Tier 10 British fighter, light fighter. It's a heavy fighter assassin is really what it is. And we're not up against any heavy fighters. In fact, the heavy fighter is on our team. Got Bob in an FJ1 on the enemy team.
Pilots, get ready for action.
That could prove... Why am I spawning over here? What is the point of me spawning over here? That could prove to be a pain in the ass, actually. FJ1, I don't know off the top of my head if it's more maneuverable. He's stock at least, so I've got that going for me. If it was an F-86, I wouldn't be able to dogfight him, right? You just don't have that that maneuverability to be able to out dogfight an F-86 Sabre. An FJ1 though, I might have some flexibility. We'll see. We'll see as I get to him. So as I said, we are a heavy fighter attacker, really. And so we want to make the heavy fighters in the game no more. Well, since we're in the center here, let's continue on to the center here. Multi-rolls as well can certainly do some damage too. I mean, we can do damage to everybody, of course. But getting stuck into a dogfight is not going to be the best way to play the Swift. You will regret your life choices. You will not succeed very well. Probably don't want to do this, but I lived anyway. 30mm cannons are pretty nice for that kind of shenaniganery. Don't usually go head on versus Batwings, but gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Was able to get my cannons on target quick enough. I do have the accuracy on this pretty well maxed out. Not that it helped in that situation. And even though the maneuverability on this is pretty okay, what it is not is a very tight turning circle. It's a very fat turning circle on this frickin' plane. Still tighter than a Javelin. How am I catching up with you, Javi? There we go. We're just gonna keep on keeping on here. Freaking, oh, good. Did not need to get a freaking rocket in my face from that guy. All kinds of rockety kind of planes here. These are not the best setup for going for ground attackers, but pretty good. Pretty good guns. I mean, they're very good guns for going against ground attackers, but you've only got 2 of them, so that's where we run into issues. Is just not having enough to go for a specialized frickin' GA. This BVP 215 in front of me wishes it was a heavy fighter, so we'll kill it like it's a heavy fighter. Hunter is a hunter, so we can't be messing with a hunter, or can't let a hunter mess with us, I should say. We can't seem to hit him. There we go. Let's get on over here. Let's see what we can kill. I'm trying to get him into the mining facility. Good, he's in the mining facility, so we can hurt him a little bit and get some defense points back, capture points back. The LA-160, he's going the other way, so we're gonna go the other way. LA-160 could be a slight pain. I've got definitely superior speed and altitude performance over him. He's just got 2 30mm cannons that can be super pains in the butts if I let them be. Let's go, let's go, let's go! Let's use this speed to our advantage. Oh my goodness, trying to hit the air brakes here. Going too quick. Too quick sometimes. I hate when that happens. Knocked out his engine. That would be why. If I was paying attention to what the hell I was doing, I'd probably be an even better pilot. Let's go get this 215. Fortunately, I've captured both mining facilities, so I'm going to say that our 262 is not taking out GAs very well. Let's get over here, see if we can help our bombers take this place. Our 262 is doing work. Our FJ1's probably being a huge pain in his ass. That's what I'm willing to bet. Let's get rid of this guy if we can. Go, just because he's the bigger threat to our immediate survival. Got a hunter outbound. What is this guy? F-94D. God dang, F-94Ds everywhere. Just all over the place today. Come here, hunter. Somehow I'm missing all my shots. All those accuracy buffs are doing bang up job, huh, aren't they? Alright, come on. There we go. Get this oh shoot, what are you? Javelin. Do not need a freaking javelin on my butt. Not that I need a freaking HT2 on my butt. They're the snake, I'm the mongoose. Let's get him out of here.
Keep it up. Victory is almost ours.
Nice. Able to avoid getting killed by the heavies. And on top of that, not letting them get away. Which is really the purpose of the Swift. Swift is so freaking fast. Now granted, we're not going up against specialized XF90s or anything ridiculous like that, but even if you were, you'd be able to stick with them for just long enough.
There's no way to break through for you now. You're on your own.
To really make them take notice of what the hell is going on. Alright, that F-94 is not coming towards us, so we can take our time here and go after this bomber. What the hell was that? There we go. Alright, F-94's on low health. We can snippy snipe him. He doesn't come head on to us. There we go. Nice. Very nice. Dang-a-de dang. Alright. Well, that's a battle. So... and sometimes you just get in the groove, huh? I love the Swift for what it does. You might not like the Swift for what it doesn't do. Let's head on back. Alright, so... well, exactly 20 targets destroyed there. 19,000 personal points. Decent chunk to aerial targets. So that's what this plane does, really, honestly. The FJ1 let me do that. So, and not that the FJ1 could have a lot to do to stop me. It's just, it's not fast enough. In fact, let's just for my own peace of mind here. FJ1. Mine's not specialized, but neither was his. FJ1 is significantly slower. And hell, the maneuverability is barely better. The altitude performance is barely better. The maneuverability on the FJ1 would have been a much tighter turning circle, for sure. You're going so fast in the Swift that your turning circle is going to be like the size of a city. And so keep that in mind, even when you get your maneuverability built up on this plane. The Swift is still just going so freaking fast, right? I'll talk a little bit about how I've got my plane set up and why I haven't changed that, but let's just take a look at what this plane is. The Swift is... it's on the Spitfire line, of all things, right? And of course it is, because it's British fighter. It is very different than things like the Spitfire 14. I am currently on the Spitfire 14 on the EU server, and it is mind-numbingly slow sometimes. It's just because when you're in a tier 9 battle, you're just like, wow, there goes everything, and you're feeling like a zero, the plane, not like a person. And so you go from that to the attacker, which is a pretty well received plane. It's pretty well loved, to be honest. The biggest downfall of the attacker is his guns are still on the wings for whatever reason, and because the guns are on the wings, they can be very fickle in a dogfight. Otherwise, the maneuverability is pretty good on it, especially for a jet. The airspeed's pretty good on it, and your altitude performance is middling. But overall, the attacker is a very solid and well-received tier 9 fighter. You go from that to just throwing any lack of speed out the window. Swift is named for the bird, but it could just very well be the name of how fast this plane is, right? Yeah. So the Swift can freaking go fast. Keep in mind, we're going to look at the equipment really quick on my Swift. We're going to take a look at the pilot afterwards, and I want you to keep some stuff in mind. So my focus really is on accuracy on this plane. I say that with a caveat, though. So first, I've got the gyroscopic sight. I just got it up to 474. I spent freaking 1 million goddamn credits on this crap, but I've got the accuracy plus 21% instead of plus 15%, which you would get on normal ultimate gyroscopic sight. I don't know if it's worth 6%, a million freaking credits for 6%, but who am I to argue? Chance of causing fire and chance of inflicting critical damage are both boosted by 10%, and another bonus characteristic is another 3% of the forward firing armament. Unfortunately, what I've got for my forward firing weapon is GOA, which actually reduces the accuracy of your forward firing armament. So basically that gyroscopic sight is really only giving me about 8%, 9% additional accuracy because the GOA balances this out. Right now I feel like that's still okay. And the reason being is because the gas, I'm still getting 9% accuracy, right? And the gas operated action is giving me a pretty big boost in rate of fire. I still don't know if it's the best bet, though. I might... The reason I haven't changed this is because I've frickin' spent a bunch of frickin' credits on getting this up to ultimate, and even beyond is up to 470. And I just feel like I've invested so much money in this one frickin' equipment piece that going to something that doesn't reduce accuracy might be detrimental. But that could just be all in my own head. Some of the bonus characteristics, cooldown rate is significantly increased by 15%, and the rate of fire is increased by another 2.5%. So the cooldown rate on this is really why I'm still stuck on the GOA. My best bet would probably be the long gun barrels if I'm just trying to not impact the accuracy, right? The long gun barrels give longer range, reduce the burst length, but don't impact the accuracy. I'm really hesitant because the burst length on this, if I wasn't going to go with gas-operated action, I'd honestly go with reinforced bulk carriers because it's the burst length on this that really drives me crazy. These 30mm cannons, you guys saw them. They hit so freaking hard. They hit so well. They do such great damage. But the burst length just isn't really quite there. There's multiple times in this battle, even with 20 kills, where the guns overheated before I really needed them to overheat. So like reinforced bolt carriers is really what I actually want. Of the three that I've got here, reinforced bolt carriers is the option that I really think would be best for this plane. But it's probably going to be the last one I experiment with. I'm probably going to try long gun barrels after this just to see if the accuracy, getting an accuracy buff, is that much more helpful. You know, if I've got a longer range and my accuracy is even better, you know, having less burst length might not be a big deal because you're hitting with these strong guns even further out. I don't know. I'm going to just have to honestly experiment with it. I'm just going to suck it up, Buttercup. spend frickin' millions of credits on the long gun barrels and the reinforced belt carriers, screw around with the Swift, and then just kind of come out on top and see what works out best. But right now, stuck with the ultimate GOA. I really, if anybody's got a Swift, what is your setup? What do you find best for you? I'd love to hear. I haven't heard anybody using the reinforced bolt carriers, but I kind of sort of think with the success that I've had with the reinforced bolt carriers on the XF5U, the Pancake, that makes the reinforced bolt carriers make that plane a viable plane again. And so I'm kind of wondering, just having a longer burst length on these front 30mm cannons, it might be a game changer. I could be just talking out of my butt. Most people talk about the long gun barrels on this plane because of the lack of impact on the accuracy. And so I think that's what most people have. But again, I'd love to hear what you all have set up on your plane. Other kind of oddities I've got set up on my equipment. The plane's really fast, right? I've got my airspeed up to 98. It's not like over the top crazy stupid fast, but it's fast enough right now, and I don't have, and we'll get into my pilot in a second. So because of that, I wanted to kind of build for a blended build of maneuverability that didn't take away from airspeed, to be honest. So putting lightweight wing frame on here allowed me to get more maneuverability in turns. Able to, if I get stuck in a dogfight or just need to turn a little bit more, I can do that. Get my guns on target quicker. I don't want to do reinforced skin because it takes away from airspeed. And I didn't want to do a reinforced airframe because it's just a waste on a light fighter. Tempted to do polished skin, but I didn't want to mess up my maneuverability already more than it already was, right? Polished skin obviously would get me just to the next level for airspeed, but I honestly feel like the airspeed on the Swift right now is already good enough. There's going to be a couple situations here and there where I might need more airspeed, but in general, 99.9% of the time, I've got enough airspeed for what I need. And again, we'll get to the pilot in just a second. For my engine, I have put uprated engine on here because, again, it doesn't impact maneuverability. And I don't want combined boost injection because I want to keep as much boost availability as I possibly can. Engine armor protection, I get my engine knocked out every once in a while, but that's on me. That's my stupidity. I shouldn't be getting myself stuck in situations where I have to worry about my tail or my engine. So, again, this would take away from airspeed. Uprated engine is my best bet in my mentality on here because the other item I've got on here is the lightweight power unit. Lightweight power unit, yeah, it reduces the engine's resistance to critical damage, but if I'm going fast enough and I'm avoiding those type of situations, this is what I meant by it's on me. If I'm avoiding those situations, I don't need to worry about how weak my engine is. I should be going fast enough. The lightweight power unit gives me more maneuverability, and even some of the bonus characteristics are giving me even more speed. So the combination of the lightweight power unit and the uprated engine just allow for, I think it's the best bet for this particular plane, getting a little bit of maneuverability and getting that speed. Again, if I went with the polished skin, I'd basically be canceling out the maneuverability that you'd get from the lightweight power unit, and there's really not a better option here. There's no point in the armor engine protection. You're reducing your speed. And the combined injection boost system, like, you just don't get enough boost out of this plane to make this a viable option. So I really don't see another, like, of all the things on this plane, this is the two options here that I think are kind of locked in. And that would mean that if I went with the polished skin on the airframe, it would kind of sort of cancel out my lightweight power unit. But putting a lightweight wing frame just reduces my hit points, which who cares? If I'm relying on my hit points, then I'm playing this plane wrong, right? So the combination of what you need to put for the engine kind of trickles down to what should be used for the airframe. And so these three are pretty well locked in. Gyroscopic sight, I've been tempted to use G-Suit, but the yellow on this plane is so high that as fast as the plane goes, it doesn't actually stay in the yellow range of speed long enough for the G-Suit to be viable, in my opinion. I could change my could change my mentality on that. And navigational radio equipment, I don't know. I just don't. I don't see how that would be viable for this situation. So where G-Suit could possibly be viable, I really, again, just want my accuracy to be as top-notch as possible, and that's why I've gone with a gyroscopic sight. For my consumables, I want my pilot in there at all times. Can't tell you last time I caught on fire in this plane. I'm not putting a fire extinguisher on here, and it's not a firework kind of day. Pneumatic control assist is definitely the way to go when it comes to the airframe. You know, getting the emergency control system in there, it's just not a viable option in my opinion. I'd rather have the pneumatic control assist to be able to, if I need to dogfight for a second or 10 seconds, I can do that, or get myself out of trouble before I boost away. I want that pneumatic control assist. I've gone all in for speed on consumables. I've got the engine cooling, which gives you that extra 10 seconds, but I've also gone with improved mixture control. Again, the engine gets knocked out from time to time, but this is, I play it this way because it forces my hand. It forces me to think in ways that allow me to avoid taking damage as often as possible, rather than getting myself stuck into a battle that I can't get out of or that I get too injured on. So if I'm keeping that mentality, I'll never need the engine restart anyway, and getting the additional 2%, or excuse me, 5% thrust and 2% cruise speed is awesome in this plane. So improved mixture control and engine cooling is my way to go, and, you know, universal ammo. As far as the pilot is concerned, now keep in mind this is a 9-point pilot. The next 2 items that I'm going to be getting on this plane are going to be engine gurus, right? I don't even have engine gurus, and this is what I was alluding to before about the pilot. The first couple things I went in on were the Marksman 1 and Marksman 2. I wanted to make sure my cannons could hit as much as possible. Marksman 2 is really effective because it just helps with the accuracy and firing against maneuvering targets. And almost everything you're going against is maneuvering, right? And the ones that aren't maneuvering, you're just going to kill with your 30mm cannons. The next option I went with was Aerodynamic Expert. So Aerodynamic Expert has a positive effect on the aircraft maneuverability and speed equipment. And as I said, I've got 3 speed and maneuverability equipment, so it's 40%ing all of that. I was tempted to go with Engine Guru for my 8th and 9th point, but I went with Aerobatics Expert. The reason being is because I just wanted to add a little bit more maneuverability. I know myself, I might get myself stuck into a situation that I really need some more maneuverability, and so I went with Aerobatics Expert. The argument could easily be made getting Engine Guru 1. Engine Guru 1 is definitely going to be my next skill that I get on here when I get to 11 points. Beyond that, I'd like to think I'll probably be getting Engine Guru 2, but there's a strong possibility I might get something honestly like Cruise Flight. Something like Raptor Strike. And so, yeah. So we'll play it by ear, but Engine Guru 1 is definitely my next, my 10th and 11th point are going to be used for that. So anyway, this is how I've got my Swift set up. I know this is not a super popular plane at Tier 10. I would think a lot of people would have at least gotten this plane because the rest of the line is really popular. All the Spitfires and then the Attacker, very popular planes. This was the first Tier 10 I got in the game, and I was sorely tempted to sell it, to be honest. And I told myself, no, it's freaking Tier 10. Don't sell it. For the love of God, you grind it all this freaking way. Don't sell it. Just don't play it. And I didn't play it. For a very long time, I did not play it. I did not play and enjoy this plane until I learned how to play heavy fighters, actually. So think of it this way. I went down this fighter line, learned how to dogfight and all that jazz. Did not learn how to frickin' energy fight. Did not learn how to boom and zoom. And this is a boomer and a zoomer. This plane is not built to dogfight. It can, in a pinch, like a multi-roll, but it is not built to dogfight all day. The guns it's not a strength of the guns, it's not a strength of the airframe. Strength of the gun and the airframe is to take out heavy fighters. Is to take out XF-90s, take out Javelins, take out 262s. The strength of these guns and airframe is to take out bombers. Not just sitting behind them like a moron, but take them out from the side, zoom in, get a couple of really good shots in, zoom past, circle back around, get some more good shots in. Same with GAs. This plane can do very well versus a lot of the multi-rolls in the game. anything that's got a lot of maneuverability, you want to play this plane like it's a heavy fighter. If you get yourself into a dogfight with a Yak 30, with a F-86, with a frickin' Jawa, with a BVP 212, don't come crying on me. I told you not to do it, and you shouldn't be doing it. And I think that's why a lot of people don't like this plane, is because they play it like it is a fighter. And it is, but it's not built to take on those planes. It's built to take on the other planes I just spoke about. MiG-15s you can take on. Go for MiG-15s all day. But we all know MiG-15 is not a turn fighter. Do not dogfight a Key 162. You're not going to like the results. So use your energy when it's best to use your energy, which is most of the time. Use that little bit of maneuverability for the times where you just need that extra couple hits into the target, and you'll do well. So that's my overarching setup of this plane. Again, I'd love to have some feedback on the way you've got your guns set up. Although I've clearly enjoying this plane, I still think it's not the best it could be, but maybe it is. So give me a heads up in the comments below, or join my Discord. Description is down below here. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the video, and happy Monday to everybody. Bye.